With the rise of AI, I kept seeing all of these ads for AI models. I'm someone who is a startup clothing brand and I'm slowly making my way up the ladder. As someone who doesn't really care for AI that much, I did get curious to try out and just kind of see how it goes. Hey guys, my name is Alki. I'm a streetwear designer here in Denver. Welcome to my streetwear journals, basically, where I talk about my current life. I kind of just show you the come up and process of everything from a startup to hopefully an actual clothing brand. You kind of get to watch my brand grow from the ground up. So the first thing when I tried out this thing was basically just kind of looking at the cost of everything. So every business owner is always concerned with cost. At least you should be when you're first starting out and trying to profit, because starting up a clothing brand is actually kind of scary because you don't even know if people are going to buy your clothes and you don't know if everything is going to work. And you might just burn like $5,000 for all you know. With the rise of AI, you basically see it everywhere and it's shoved down everyone's throat, which is honestly really annoying. And I was kind of just on Instagram and I kept seeing all these like studio AI models, and I was like, all right, let me just try it out and make a video about it and see if it's actually worth doing. I don't think anyone has really made a video like this, but I've also been very MIA for quite a long time, and I'm kind of just getting back in the swing of things of making videos. So my take was that a yearly subscription can pay off basically compared to having to pay the rent of a studio and to pay models, giving up clothes and outfits and stuff like that, and any other additional cost that comes with actually doing the whole thing. That's what everyone wishes they can do, is just, cut the cost of everything and stuff like that. I believe the yearly subscription I believe was around $300. I think it was like 250 to 300. So I think there was a monthly feature as well, about like 30 bucks a month. And now that everything is also a monthly fee nowadays is also very concerning. So maybe this might not even be worth it. So I kind of concluded of why not to use it. And here are just kind of my like reasons of why you shouldn't use it besides it being just AI. So number one is that when you do like modeling and doing all the stuff like that and photo shoots, you are building a community and connections. When you're first starting out, you want to build your brand in your local community. So if you're like cutting out as many outlets as you can, then you're probably not going to grow locally. Everything cannot be done through social media. I hate to break it to you. There is more to life than just social media. Of course, it is going to be a helping hand for making, purchases and sales like besides your local community, but I would suggest trying to start off as local as much as you possibly can, and then you can start working on your social media and branding and stuff like that. People underestimate their local community so much, and it's kind of crazy because most of my sales come through my local community, whether it's through consignment, vending, or all that other stuff. And sometimes I do get a few online sales, and that is the part I'm actually trying to work on this year and probably next year as well. So I always suggest doing both. Also, booking studio time helps with consistency of your marketing, whether you're using the same samples or the same studio, and you're probably going to be meeting a lot of other people who are using that studio as well, whether it be other models, fashion designers, clothing brands, etc. And making connections with models and others will also help build a stronger foundation for your clothing brand. Plus, when you're in the studio, you're able to record so much content, which will help you out in the long run. And content is king nowadays, whether it's kind of just, I don't know, we're trying to get rid of the whole slop thing, which I hope actually comes soon. But another thing is that when you're recording content, you can't, it's just like all you can do. And you have to get kind of creative with it when you do go to the studio. And it is kind of fun to experiment and stuff like that, just because content creation is also another outlet for most creatives, as much as they don't like to admit it. But, um, and plus, when you're first starting out, I highly doubt you have the budget for ads and everything like that. So make your studio time worth it and maybe don't spend the money on AI. Another thing that I found that didn't really work for me when I was using these AI models is that the picture didn't really come out right. Well, at least for the clothes, it didn't. The software could not get the dimensions right and the style of it. The system only takes what it knows and kind of just regurgitates what it does, and that's just typical AI for you. And my cropped hoodie came out like it's more cropped than a normal cropped hoodie. So when I put that like prompt or whatever it is into the system or whatever it is, my cropped hoodie was not as cropped as I would have liked it. and it can be misleading. And when I put in my pants in there as well, I think they're more baggier than the normal baggy jeans you probably see around. And the thing is, if the AI can only take what it knows, it's not going to be up to trend because it's going to be taking previous trends and just making the the image of what it already knows. And if it's not caught up to date, it's really not going to really know what you're trying to do. Another thing that I've kind of noticed was that it also messes up the graphics to some extent, and it kind of makes them a little more blurry for the most part. And maybe it could have just been my image for all I know, but I don't really want the image to be messed up and then have to keep recreating it when I can just go to the studio. The models themselves do look good, but I wouldn't say they look good enough to dope the average user. You can still tell that it's AI, and that kind of just gets into my next point. So when you use AI, your brand will probably suffer because people don't necessarily like AI, like myself, and a lot of people are not going to trust you or your brand if you start using AI. So, for example, if you go to an art market and you see people using AI art, are you going to necessarily buy that art? Probably not. Most people do not like AI art, especially if they know it is AI art. And you can definitely tell when you use AI for like a model and stuff like that. And when you do that, people are not going to want to buy from you because they're not going to really trust you that much. And when you're first starting out, you really want to build trust with your audience. So if all the dimensions are messed up on the model and the product does not come as shown, people are going to call out your brand and they're going to have, trouble building some kind of loyal customers because your products don't look like what they look like on the models. And people just don't trust AI either, and it kind of gives your brand a bad look, whether it's on your website or your designs or anything like that. People can definitely tell, and people do not like it. So, cutting corners is not the way to build your brand. You need to build a strong foundation. And I think using AI models is cutting a lot of corners and it's going to mess you up in the long run. And it's definitely going to mess up your foundation of trying to building a loyal audience and getting returning customers and stuff like that, and building an email list or whatever it is you need to do when you first start out. Without a strong foundation, you're not going to grow. And that's just the reality of starting a clothing brand or technically any business, in my opinion. Hey guys, if you like these videos, feel free to click the subscribe button. I would really appreciate it. Let me know your thoughts in the comments if you guys have gotten this far or if you want to, communicate with me or stuff like that. I would love to know your thoughts. All of my links are in the description if you want to, check it out, purchase any of my clothes or just to keep up with me and social media or whatever it is. But I appreciate you guys and I'll talk to you guys soon. Peace.